gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk. I'm your host, Saieed Ali, a spiritual consultant and real estate businessman. Now remember, viewers, for those of you that are having spiritual problems, you can feel free to contact me at 339-1670, 238-6716. Those of you that have properties to sell or looking for a property to buy, you can also get in touch with me. You lend your friend and your family your hard-earned cash and you cannot get it back. Well, get in touch with Real Talk, that collection department, at 238-6716 or 339-1670, and let us help you get back your hard-earned cash that you lend your friend or your family. Now, I want to say a special good night to you viewers of Real Talk in Trinidad and Tobago, up the Caribbean and around the globe. Those of you that are on our page, Real Talk page, like and share as we go live. Now, viewers, with our page, we give you updates every hour of what is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. So those of you that are viewing from up the island, log on to the Real Talk page, Real Talk with Saieed Ali, like and share it with your friends and your family, share it in your community, so people would understand what is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. Those of you that are on YouTube, TT Real Talk, subscribe, hit the bell, and you would know when we go live. Now, viewers, this is a live calling program from Monday to Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. on Synergy TV. We have our repeat the following morning from 10 to 11 a.m. So in case you missed it out during the night, you can look at it the next day from 10 to 11 p.m. a.m. on Synergy TV. Now, viewers, when we go live, feel free to call in. Our studio lines are 238-6716 to voice your complaint of what is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. Is there an issue in your community? Let us know. Let Trinidad and Tobago know. Let the world know what is taking place in your community. And the only way you can get it out is on the Real Talk platform, because we are the #1 current affairs program in Trinidad and Tobago, where we bring to you the issues that is facing you, the public. So feel free to join us in our discussion tonight. 238-6716. Let me hear what you have to say. Now we have a crisis in Trinidad and Tobago, which is the COVID-19, the coronavirus. It is hitting every country around the world. Death is escalating by the tens, the 20s, the hundreds. Do we have a cure or a vaccine for COVID-19? So feel free to call us. Let us hear what you have to say concerning this virus that is hitting Trinidad and Tobago. Do you think the government is doing enough? Or do you think they should have planned before it hit Trinidad and Tobago, so we would have a fair idea of what is essential and what is non-essential? So let me hear from you. Now, there are other stations, there are other media houses, they have other talk shows, but it is not like Real Talk, because I give you, the viewers, the opportunity. If I have 10 stories here and I go, let's just say I get through 2, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that, because I know and my staff know it's all about the citizen. It's all about you getting what you want on air, your concern. So as we move on tonight, viewers, feel free to call in 238-6716. Let us hear what is taking place in your community. Now, one of the topics that we will be discussing tonight, even though I have a list of things to talk about, I want to hear, is there anything? Is there some rift or something? Or they are not keeping intact with one another between the panel that have morning discussion concerning the media briefings concerning COVID-19, between the Minister of National Security, between the Commissioner of Police? Because what we are hearing is that the Minister is saying that the Commissioner of Police cannot close down the bank, the groceries, neither the bar. On one side, we have the Commissioner saying that he will shut it down. So as we go along tonight, as we exchange ideas, feel free to call in. That is something we need to clarify, because we hear the minister saying one thing and we hear the protective service saying the other thing. So let's have a discussion concerning that, so the people in Trinidad and out of Trinidad will have a fair idea of what is taking place in Trinidad. So listen this, viewers. Scores of citizens were seen outside the nation's bank today as they try to get their business done. This comes even as government yesterday passed regulations to limit gathering to the group of 5. Caller, good night.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah, calling on the goodly Prime Minister sharing out money for people who are not working.
Banks are not to be closed by the Commission.
Worker. I haven't gotten my severance money yet. They say they have money to pay severance. We need money too.
Thank you, caller. However, this did not stop citizens, particularly the senior citizens, from gathering in large numbers outside the banks. This prompted Police Commissioner Gary Griffith to issue a statement threatening the closures of banks, supermarkets, and markets. He said he asked National Security Minister Stuart Young for institutions to place markers outside their premises where citizens would be to stand 6 feet apart. In response to the question from the media, Dr. Rowley said the police commissioner cannot close these establishments.
Banks are not to be closed by the Commissioner of Police. We went into detail as to how the banking sector is to function, is functioning, and the importance of the banking sector as an essential service. And therefore, I don't know that that arrangement of having them close at the behest of the Commissioner of Police is what we can expect.
At a media conference this afternoon, Police Commissioner Gary Griffith insisted that it is the duty of the police service to ensure that police obey, that police, and not leaving out police, that police and citizens obey the law of the land.
But we're in a situation where hundreds of persons are gathered every day outside banks, outside supermarkets, outside stores, outside financial institutions, and there's very little concern about that. I have a concern about that, because now that it is past midnight on Sunday, this is where the Cinderella kicks in, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. We have a job to do, and our job and our mandate is to ensure that persons adhere to the law.
Now, viewers, there seems to be some sort of mix-up. Now, what I would like to see done is that when they're having their briefings, yes, we understand it's COVID-19's briefing with the Chief Medical Officer, with the Minister of Health, with the Prime Minister, sometimes it might be the Minister of National Security, but the thing is, we need the Commissioner of Police to sit there also. So when you hear the Minister of National Security said, well, being the Minister of National Security, we are going to do this, we are going to do that, we are going to the next. I want to see the Commissioner of Police right there. I want to see him right there. In that way, you would prevent what is taking place presently. Because if you look at the banks and the groceries and in the markets, there are long lines, people 50, 60, sometimes 100 people. And the ministers are saying we are trying to do this and we are trying to do that, we are trying to do the next. And then we have here now, when the police executing duties, we hear the minister saying something else. Caller, good night. Hello?
good night.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, I would like to find out if you could be able to do a little investigation as to where these viruses in Trinidad, where the affected people are located, so the public could be more aware of it.
Good question. Very good. Now, I think the minister said tomorrow within in a briefing, he would release, he mightn't say the name of the street or the number of the house where they're living in, but a geological map. I believe that, okay, if somebody is habiting, let's say in Caroni Savannah Road, just say somebody on the Shogunas area have it. You understand? So the people of Shogunas will not stigmatize that particular house, but they will be aware of, hey, you know what? It is in Shogunas, so it's my duty. It is my duty to make sure that I keep myself safe. That would be the best thing to do. So the various areas would understand, the people in the area would know how to prevent themselves from going outside. Caller, good night.
Good night, sir.
Go right ahead.
I believe the Prime Minister getting a headache now. I believe he probably get back his voice. You remember at one time he might have been suffering from it? All right. You remember Section 54? You remember what that was designed for? He led a group of people, Roger et al., Floyd et al., accepted them to railroad that law.
Thank you, my friend. Now listen to this, eh? He said, the Commissioner of Police, he said he will do what it takes within the confines of the law.
The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, we are here to serve you, and we will serve you with the best of our ability. What we would not do is to abuse our power. And if anyone has a concern, because all the Commissioner of Police said was that we cannot arrest anyone if they leave their home, and people have that and see that as an issue, well, then you're in the wrong country, because this is a democratic society and persons have constitutional rights.
Well said. Well said. The police commissioner lamented that the major issues are crowds at the banks, the supermarket, and the market.
There's a clear and present danger as it pertains to hundreds of persons assembling outside of these institutions, more so the banks, health centers, markets, and groceries. And if this continues, all of the work that the Prime Minister has spoken about can go to naught because of just one person. If one person in that group of all of these banks, they have the virus, hundreds can be affected.
Correct. He is correct. Now in other countries, in Italy, let me tell you something, they have deaths by the hundreds. By the hundreds. In the US, they are leading right now with confirmed cases of COVID-19, and there are deaths following. Now, viewers, I want to let you understand something. We do not have a cure for this. Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead.
Yes, Saeed, three topics I want to bring up, right? One of the topics is about the foreman who don't have a banking account in the bank, and they have to go and get that money. The government give it, right? How are they going to get that money? Because they say they want a bank statement. I won. Right? The next policy is the person who the police them running down in the street. The mad person like. Why they run him down? Why they have him running so far? Right, remember?
Caller, I do apologize for cutting, but we are getting some sort of feedback. Some sort of feedback we are getting from you, caller. I do apologize for that. Now, I'm going to tell you something, eh? The commissioner is right, you know. It's the crowd, you know. It's the crowd. Now, if the Minister of National Security could sit with him in the briefing when they have it on mornings and also evenings, people would understand, the minister would understand, the commissioner would understand, the prime minister would understand, the health minister would understand, the CMOs would understand what step they are going with forward. Because there seems to be a mixed signal that is going out into the public domain. It seems to be so because we are not getting it straight. St. Lucia, the Prime Minister for St. Lucia extended. They extended a curfew. You know why? You know why? Because the citizens are not listening. They are not listening. So they extended the curfew. Now I can tell you something. If the citizens of Trinidad listen, they would not have community spread, you know. If community spread of the COVID-19 get out of hand, you know what happening? You know what happening? It wouldn't have a car. It wouldn't have a truck. It wouldn't have a motorbike passing on the roads in Trinidad and Tobago. You know why? Every single person in Trinidad would be afraid of being in contact with someone with the COVID-19. Every person would fear for themselves. You see, when the death toll in Trinidad reach 50, 60, 70 and climbing, then you all will take heed. You see, when they have a death in a community of COVID-19, then you all will take heed. But to the ministers and the commissioner of police and those in the Security Council, you all need to sit in one table when you're having all a media briefing. Because the commissioner, as far as what I see, the commissioner of police is trying to keep less crowd on the streets. Caller, good night.
Pleasant good night.
Go right ahead.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. Because it's the people that is being stubborn. It's the people who going out there and you hearing in every corner, keep your distance. It's the people that going out there. Another thing real quick. I am of the opinion that we in this country, we need a state of emergency. We are talking about a total shutdown. We have no idea where people from, which community they're from, nothing of the sort. Another thing too, the Trinidad citizens who are in Venezuela, why we are not looking after our own? How it is possible? I am of the opinion that what is good for one is good for all.
Yes.
If you could bring some from Guadeloupe, what happens for us? Another thing too, real quick, we have in Trinidad, we have to look at the price of oil. We have to pay attention to the price of oil.
Yes.
Remember, that's our income.
Yes.
Another thing too, with the price of gas supposed to drop. What really going on in this place? I'll leave you with that. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Now, switching gears a bit, viewers, we have a prison issue now. Listen to this. The government of Trinidad and Tobago is looking at ways in which it can address issues in the national prison or the nation's prison. One such issue is that of overcrowding especially in the Raymond Yard. This comes as a result of COVID-19. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley revealed that these options are currently being explored by Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi and the judiciary.
And work is progressing at this time, with a view to determine what we can do to intervene in the prisons, to have persons who are there on the basis of not having been able to make bail, persons who are not violent and a danger from that standpoint, to see whether we could not improve the conditions in the prison by reducing the population and preventing the possibility of overcrowding, because that's a very, very vulnerable area.
Caller, good night.
Hi, good night, sir.
Go right ahead.
I just want to make a plea to these Trinidadians. You know, I can understand. Some of them very educated, you know. Right? And they're standing up in line. When you look at them, they're well-dressed and they're looking so articulate.
Yep.
Right? And you telling me they're going up close to one another. And you can't stay away. What happened to these people and them? Come now, man. All your Trinis. Be better than that.
Thank you, my friend.
Watch me, we do.
You know something? If one person gets it in a crowd, you know they will say the government are doing this and the government are doing that and the government are doing this. All you have to do is just stay between 3 to 6 feet away from an individual, you know, and that is it, you know. When you're going out, as how the CMO said, Chief Medical Officer said that it is contaminated now, passing on from one person to the next. Wear a mask, so in case you sneeze, it is within right there. Don't do like if you're going to a carnival fete and jam up and hug up and, oh God, I can't stay far from. Well, what is that? Every day there's a media briefing, most likely between 9 and 10. They are telling you to stay away. People are listening. The other day I saw on our Facebook, somebody sent me a video. People went to make cook. They went to make cook. You see, I can tell you something, eh? If the commissioner really scrambled one or two of them and charge them $50,000, I feel they might listen. The two bar owners, they should have set an example with them. Take what I tell you, they should have set an example, because somebody have to feel it in order for the nations to listen, you know. I'm not asking you, I am telling you. So the Attorney General supposed to bring a legislation. So the Commissioner of Police wouldn't be saying one thing while he's trying to manage the crowd on the street, he and his TTPS, and the minister on one side wouldn't be saying another thing. Now, I want to let you listen carefully. I am not pushing a wedge between the Minister of National Security, the Prime Minister, and the Commissioner of Police. I am not pushing a wedge, but I want to let you understand. The Commissioner of Police is trying to manage the crowd, while we have the Prime Minister saying one thing. He cannot close down banks, supermarket, or groceries. Put a legislation in place. Make it effective. And give the police the authority. Give them the authority to manage this situation. Because like the Commissioner of Police said, a human being, we have constitutional rights. I tell you, when it start to have debt, by the 10s, by the 20s, by the 30s, then we Trinidadians go listen. Call her good night.
Hello, good night, sir.
Go right ahead.
Said a little bit confused that where the two barman was held, one person was charged 1,000 and the other was 25,000.
Yes.
A little bit confused about that.
I myself.
Because I think both of them should face the same penalty.
Because both of them broke the public health law.
Sure.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you, my friend. You see, this is where they're supposed to make an example. This is where they're supposed to make an example. Now, I could tell a friend who have a bar, open your bar. Open your bar, make a 10,000, and when you go before the court, they will charge you $1,000, so you had $9,000 profit. Call her good night.
Hello, good night, Said.
Go right ahead.
I listened to the little function, the little message the Prime Minister talk about today, right? But I hear you keep on saying, and the Minister held and all said, that how they take it in time, January month, but it has something happen after January month, where over 20,000 people come in and they're saying, but they say they take it in time. It has no time in that. Listen to what he said and see what I was telling you. Minister said that the Prime Minister said they say they take this thing in time, January month. And
Yes.
they have carnival after. Yeah. So, and then all them people, you see, all they talking about the elderly, but the elderly really home. And them have to get tested because them young people who get carried home to them elderly, and them who have it and it will spread, that will come out of a bang. That is why this 2 weeks thing is so serious from what they started. And then people still taking it serious, they're still liming. I'm glad they shut it down, but people that what they saw don't happen already. They just have to solve it now. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Last month, prisoners at the Raymond prison in Golden Roof staged a riot over concerns relating to COVID-19. They claimed that the prison was not ready to deal with the virus. And they also complained about overcrowding. Acting Prison Commissioner Dennis Polchan assured that protocols were in place to prevent the virus from reaching inside the prison walls. I wonder if that plan that he was talking about was relating to what the Prime Minister and the AG wants to bring into effect. On Sunday, visits to inmates were suspended due to restrictions of non-essential activities in the country. The Prime Minister said the details will be announced by the end of today.
Hopefully by the end of the day, I am anticipating that the Attorney Generals and the Judiciary could tell the population what we can do with respect to prisoners in the remand yard, and for prisoners who have been convicted and on appeal, the population would understand that if there are things we can do there, I am hoping that with the broadest sense of, I don't say generosity, but sense of understanding, get those people out of there.
Caller, good night.
Hello, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead.
I think if the minister get rid of the criminals that they have in prison, it will have room for the rest of people. You don't house the murderers and then let go the rest of people. You know, get rid of the criminals and you will have room. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my dear. Just this week, it was reported that CARICOM heads took a decision for the early release of non-violent, sick, and elderly inmates who poses absolutely no threat to society. So in Trinidad, they want to implement the same thing in Trinidad and Tobago. Those that are not a threat to society, the non-violent, and the sick, who poses absolutely no threat. So I believe the non-violent would be those on marijuana charge, those on maintenance charge. I'm more hoping it's these things, you know. To be honest with you, I'm more hoping it's these things. But I will keep you up to date on what is taking place, and we can have a discussion about that. Caller, good night.
Good night.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Saeed, I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to Real Talk, my dear. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Thank you, my dear. Now, the Minister of National Security said he gave authorization for her to come in, and what they were talking about is COVID-19, the coronavirus. Let's just hope it's that, and nothing more. Now, listen to this. Executive Director of the Caribbean Public Health Agency, Dr. Joy St. John, has stated that people who are currently outside of Trinidad and Tobago should stay out. Oh, look at here, just now, Let me finish. This, she explained, was to prevent the second or third possible wave of COVID-19 cases. She made a statement at a medical conference this morning. Dr. St. John insisted that the opening of the border will not allow Trinidad and Tobago to flatten its curve. This comes even though there are growing calls on the government to allow citizens who are stranded in other countries to come home. So let me pause there. Let me pause right there. Caller, good night. Hello? Sorry, there's some kind of connection wrong there. So, caller, we do apologize for that. Now, let me pause right there. People who are currently outside of Trinidad and Tobago should stay outside. Why are we sending our doctors and nurses or technical team outside of Trinidad and Tobago? That's number one. Number two, we're taking on Cubans in Trinidad and Tobago to assist in ICU, while we are sending technical staff from here to another country. Does that make any sense to any right-thinking citizen in Trinidad and Tobago? Does that make sense? We're sending our technical staff outside when we taking assistance from Cuba to come into Trinidad. Does that make any sense? If that makes sense to you all, you tell me. Because at the end of the day, you the citizen have power, you have rights. Because when these Cubans comes into Trinidad, you are taking our money to pay. So what I want to know from the government now, the extra money that you all said that you were going to give the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, when would that come into effect? This is what I want to know. Because today, my phone was flooded with calls. This is not the social development office, you know. But I'm going to tell you something. They call into voice their complaint. You know why? Because they heard a minister, I believe it's Camille Robinson-Reggie, said that she is going to give an extra $150 to household. When older folks got their check today, they had the same figures that they were getting 2 and 3 months back. And the minister said in April, they are going to issue this. So if they add on a 150, you are going to get 3 times the amount in April month. So I wonder what part of April they are talking about. A guy called me and said, Saeed, I went online to fill out the form, and like I cannot type nothing. I said, you sure your computer working? He said, yes, Saeed. He said, when I pull up the page, to type on the page, it was a problem. While others were calling and said, yes, Saeed, we signed up whatever it is, but the thing is, how long would it take? How long would it take? People are calling me on a daily basis since the minister issued that statement for rental assistant, grocery assistant, unemployment assistant, but nobody's not getting anything. On top of that now, we have a call on the line. Caller, good night. Go right ahead. Thank you.
I would like you to find out something for me, please. As being a temporary worker working for 39 years in petition and paying tax, and I get insurance, am I entitled to anything? If you could find out for me, please.
You there?
Yeah, as being a temporary worker for 39 years paying tax, if I am entitled to anything, if you could find out for me, please.
39 years temporary worker. As long as you pay NIS, you're qualified.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. According to what the minister is saying, as long as you pay NIS, you're qualified. Because they said they are going to give the NIS department to deal with that because they already have a database. I am reminding you of what they are saying. Because today and onwards, we having a problem. The citizen having a problem because the minister is saying one thing and the public is seeing another thing. I am not bashing, you know. I am saying what they are saying. I am relating what they are saying to you. You all, the citizens, are the receiving end. And if you are not receiving from what they are saying that they will give to you, well then something is wrong somewhere. I don't care what party is in power. I don't care what is your color. I don't care what is your religion. I don't care what is your race. It has nothing to do with giving the people what you said you will do. You see, when I was saying before, what plans do we have for Trinidad and Tobago in case one COVID-19 case should hit Trinidad and Tobago? What do we have in plan? What do we have? What type of strategy do we have? But let me tell you something. While I was saying, if one case should hit Trinidad, what will happen? Jamaica was already planned in while I was talking. National Security Minister Stuart Young remains adamant that the borders will not be open to allow these persons to return. Why are we taking Cubans to come in Trinidad? You're opening the border. Why are we sending our technical staff to another country because they're asking for assistance? Why don't they go to Cuba? So these technical teams that you're sending to other countries, they cannot get COVID-19 and bring it back to Trinidad then. Come now, man. Come now, man. I asking. The media asking questions. I asking questions. Why are we taking our technical staff to send away when we are having problems right here? I'm asking. You see, I didn't come to label tonight, you know. I come to find out answers. He said every person outside this country at this time is at risk to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. To date, most of the cases of COVID-19 are imported cases. And as the Minister of Health would say, they are the cases that came from the cruise ship. So I have a big question. I have a big question. The government said that they are paying $85,000 a month to host. There's 68 of them? 68 of them. You are paying $85,000 a month in Balandra, correct? To host 68 individuals that came from a cruise ship. Why are we paying $85,000 a month when we have a hospital in Cuba put down? We have Cora put down. Why are we paying $85,000 a month when we have Cuba Hospital put down? Do we have money to give away? I'm just asking. If I decide to put up a building for 100 beds, would I collect $85,000 a month for hosting these individuals? I am asking a question. Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, the people in Charlotte Street who they sell water and things, they are nothing, all them Charlotte Street vendors and things. Why they don't want to cook some food and things like Miami and give out the people there? Because you ain't getting no money. Thank you.
Will he just say why me go home and cook? I doubt he's saying that I. Oh? Why are we paying $85,000 a month? You're claiming you have this amount of bed. All right, let me just use that term. You want to keep them in Balandra for observation. Okay? I'm using a big word, you know. Observation. To monitor them. Why not put them in the Cuba hospital where you don't have to pay one single cent? Somebody say something. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? They have beds. They have machines. They have security to the front of the hospital. and you don't have to pay nobody. Because we already have doctors in the health system who would go visit them. So why are we paying $85,000 a month to host them in Balandra, the 68 of them that came back from the cruise ship? Somebody say something, now, man. I'm preaching tonight, you know. Let me tell you something. Come back to me, guys. Let me tell you something. Disability grants are being cut. Food cards are being cut. People can't get money. But we're paying $85,000 a month to house 68 of them from a cruise ship who all you bring back. And now you have to pay now. You have to pay doctors now to go up there. You have to pay nurses to go up there. Families have to go up there and see their loved ones. And on top of that, is $85,000 a month just for the rental of the building. While we have Cuba Hospital put down doing nothing. Come now, man. Disability people can't get money. It cuts. Single mothers can't get a grant. It cuts. All I want to talk? Huh? There are many things I could talk about besides COVID-19, you know. But I'm talking while COVID-19 going around, money spending. Money spending. Caller, good night.
Hello, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead.
Saeed, you should find out who owned the resort.
Oh God, I don't know who owned the resort.
Who relative or whoever own it.
I don't know that. Thank you, caller. That is why I am asking. Why are we paying $85,000 a month when you could bring them same 68 of them from up there and put them in Cuba Hospital and you don't have to pay 1 single cent? Because in Cuba, it have the machines, it have the beds, it have the washrooms, it have security, it have the ideal facility, and you don't have to pay no rent, and you don't have to pay doctors because you're already embedded doctors into the health care. Somebody say something now, man. Somebody say something. Caller, good night.
Yes, hello, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead.
Just a couple of comments. The essential list that was published, in my view, is too vast, meaning that too much of the population is still out having to go to work and too much services are open that is allowing people to be out there. Two, I don't understand why we keep on saying that we're doing well. We've only tested 0.04% of the population. We are not doing random testing in communities. So how are we really measuring that we are doing well? We should be taking the note of what China did. And this is the only proven record. All other countries have done it differently, and now they're in serious problems. So we need to recognize that we have to do a limited state of emergency. We need to only have essential people out there for 21 days. Because the more we put people in a panic, this is the third time people have been out panic buying. And we're exposing them more every time we do this. So we need to take the pattern of China. We need to understand we are not doing random testing. We do not have sufficient PPE for a large outbreak. Thank you, Saeed.
Thank you, my dear. Now, the minister, we said we have about 1 million masks or 1 million gloves. How long will that last? I've been listening to CNN and I've been watching the US. I'm keeping a close eye. Because Italy numbers are going up in the hundreds with death every day. In the US, they surpass China in COVID-19 contamination. So I'm keeping a close look. But you know what? You know what's the sad part about it? is that they are saying and coming out and telling the media that in the coming weeks, they will run out of PPE. They are saying that. They're not hiding it. They're coming out and letting you know, say you the citizen now will take precautions. Health Minister Terence Dial Singh has revealed that a list of areas affected by COVID-19 would be released tomorrow. The minister was responding to a question from media when he made a statement. Minister Dial Singh further noted that in the coming weeks, the country will be able to do more testing. He said the ministry is at this time working towards getting the machine at Mount Hope and to getting it in Mount Hope up and running. When I was saying, what do we have in place if one case should hit? We have 90 confirmed COVID-19. We have 5 deaths, and we only have 1 discharge. So now we put in a machine there now when 5 deaths occurred and 10 persons less than 100. Confirmed COVID in Trinidad. We're now going to set up the machine. So somebody now must be proud sitting down now in the house. We don't have time to discuss that. Forget that. That's not important. 5 people lose loved ones. That ain't important. 90 confirmed cases of COVID-19. That's not important because they're not hampering me. So it's not important. I have money. I am the speaker. It's not important. Italy give up. They give up. Caller, good night.
Mr. Saeed, good night. How are you?
I'm okay. Go right ahead.
Okay, I'm a first-time caller here, but I've been observing the program for the longest while.
Welcome to Real Talk.
Firstly, I'd like to say you're doing a great job, but I'm not going to say which government or whatever. That's not my problem. My issue is that they are misusing the money. They are misusing our money that we put in place. Right? We as citizens put in place. I am a business owner just as a lot of them in Trinidad. Right? We sacrifice, we bring in stuff, we exercise the money accordingly, sure that, there's money for they to use now. And, I mean, I must say, thank God for the previous Prime Minister. We have a hospital in Cuba. Right? So, this is my issue with regards to that. I totally agree with what you are saying, and keep up the great work, brother.
Thank you, my friend. You see, Real Talk is about production, as those of you who have been following my show, from September last year to December, before I went on 2 weeks vacation, watch me, was legislation and laws like that. That is what they call production. One thing to the public. How do you define an essential business from a non-essential business? Somebody called me, they said, Saeed, my husband and my brother left to go catch fish, and the Coast Guard sent them back inside. Woo! No work for the fisherman. Is a mechanic shop. The picture with the in Grandy, with the food place open. Try it up on screen. That is an essential business. Am I right or am I wrong? But listen this. Listen this. The mechanic can't open their place. The doubles man cannot sell side the road. The small roti shop, they can't open their business because it's non-essential. But is that essential? That was in Grandy. That is in Sandy Grandy. Let's talk now. Put it back up for 30 seconds. I know we press for time. That was in Sandy Grande. Is that an essential business? While the roti shop cannot open. Eh? If a man going down the road and the tire bus, if a police vehicle going down the road and the tire bus, what's going on? So let's say something now, man. It's only the truth I bring it to all you know. It's only the truth, you know. So what is an essential business from a non-essential business? Is the water business essential? Eh? Let's talk now. Wasa. You're telling people, oh God, the Minister of Health, all wash all your hand. Kuva your hand of water for some days. I believe it's some place in Grande. Let me tell you something. It's caused like that. No water for months and for weeks. It's only on Real Talk, let us get these things, you know. Now remember, viewers, this is a live calling program from Monday to Friday. I myself are taking precautions with my staff. Friday, I would let you know if Real Talk will be on the air for the following week, because you see where the community things coming in and it's spreading. I have to make sure my staff safe, because they have wives, they have girlfriends, they have children. But nevertheless, we are out of time for tonight. A rerun of this program is at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Feel free to look at it. And if you know about it and your friends and your family don't know, tell them about Real Talk, the #1 current affairs program in Trinidad and Tobago. So viewers, you think what is essential and what is not essential? And tomorrow night being Thursday, the 2nd of April, I will be live from 7 to 8 p.m. and you tell me, if you own a business place, tomorrow it's for the business sector. If you own a business place and you had to close down, call in. So let me know what is essential from not essential. We are out of time for tonight, viewers. Do be safe, enjoy yourself, keep your distance, and be aware of when you're going out. I will see you tomorrow night. Good night.